WNBA Finals. And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. You know, I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just, you know, it's obvious.
It's finally happening. The news every Caitlin Clark fan has been waiting for since she first stepped onto a professional court is breaking, and the repercussions are about to reshape the WNBA forever. We're talking about the reported resignation of Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, a move insiders say is basically a done deal, and it's no coincidence this comes at the exact moment Caitlin Clark is signing a historic, game-changing update to her Nike contract. The battle between the league's old guard and the new queen of basketball seems to be over, and the winner is unmistakable. But to understand why the commissioner is reportedly walking away, and why Nike is rolling out the red carpet like never before for Clark, we need to dig into the private talks, the leaked audio, and the chaos that's been brewing behind the scenes for the past 2 years. This isn't just basketball anymore. It's a story of power, envy, and possibly the biggest misstep in sports management history. Let's dive in. High-level sources in the sports business world are reporting that Engelbert is negotiating her exit. This follows a whirlwind year in which the league's popularity exploded, yet leadership seemed to push against the very player driving that growth. The tipping point? A bold, undeniable move by Nike. While the WNBA debated whether Caitlin Clark was truly elite or just popular, Nike ended the argument completely. The brand just unveiled the next chapter in Clark's signature partnership, a deal insiders suggest could be nearly double the original $28 million figure first reported in 2024. This isn't just a contract, it's a lifetime alignment with Nike. It includes the massive From Anywhere global campaign and the full launch of her signature shoe line, projected to outsell merchandise from top NBA stars at a 3:1 ratio. Nike crunched the numbers, considered the fan base, and realized Caitlin Clark isn't just a WNBA star, she's a global phenomenon on her own. And this overwhelming vote of confidence from the world's biggest sports brand made the WNBA leadership look small, petty, and frankly, out of touch. But why now? Why is Engelbert reportedly stepping down just as the money and attention are flooding in? The answer may lie in a shocking hot mic moment, what some are calling the ungrateful leak. Rumors suggest that during a closed-door meeting about revenue sharing and player marketing late this season, Engelbert allegedly said that Clark and her team should be grateful for the platform the WNBA provides, implying that without the league, she'd just be a girl with a basketball. That comment reportedly made its way back to players and agents, igniting an explosive reaction. Imagine telling the athlete who brought private charter flights, sellout crowds, and millions of new fans to your league that she should be thanking you. The disconnect was so stark, even team owners couldn't ignore it. Franchise owners, finally witnessing their team values skyrocket, realized having a commissioner who seems resentful of the league's biggest asset is bad for business. You don't bite the hand feeding you. Right now, Caitlin Clark is feeding everyone. The timeline makes the story even clearer. In 2024, Clark entered the league, and instead of a red carpet welcome, a narrative of hostility took hold. Hard fouls, cheap shots, constant media disrespect from legends of the game. It was relentless. And where was the commissioner? Silent. When Clark was body checked to the floor by Kennedy Carter, the league took days to upgrade the call. When coaches tried to punish media members for asking tough questions, leadership was absent. This hands-off approach created a toxic environment that felt like Clark versus the world. Fans noticed immediately, flooding comment sections with, "Why does the WNBA hate its own savior?" That sentiment didn't fade, it grew. By late 2025, with ratings sustained largely thanks to number 22, the Board of Governors seems to have decided enough is enough. They need leaders who embrace the Clark effect, not ones trying to suppress it. Then there's Nike. The scale of this deal is humiliating for the WNBA's old guard. The league's max salary is still a fraction of what Clark makes in a single social media post. Yet Nike treats her like the female Michael Jordan, giving her a custom logo, massive marketing resources, and essentially the keys to the brand kingdom. Nike sees the reality. Caitlin Clark is a generational superstar. The WNBA, meanwhile, has spent 2 years trying to convince us every player is a star. This is more than basketball. This is the collision of culture, money, and influence. And Caitlin Clark just emerged as the undisputed victor. The participation trophy mindset doesn't work in professional sports. Nike gets it. Superstars drive revenue. The NBA became a global juggernaut because of of Magic, Bird, and Jordan. The WNBA has the potential to explode because of Caitlin Clark, but only if the league stops pretending she's just one player among 144. The rumors of Kathy Engelbert's resignation suggest the billionaire owners are finally ready to embrace the Nike approach. Elevate the superstar, and everyone else benefits from the overflow. Then there's the jealousy narrative that has haunted the league for years. Former legends like Cheryl Swoops have constantly tried to qualify Clark's achievements, criticizing her shot volume or questioning the legitimacy of her success. That same energy seems to have seeped into the league's operations. Sources say the friction between the commissioner's office and the Indiana Fever, the cash cow of the league, has been palpable. The Fever draw sold-out crowds. Their merchandise outpaces the other 11 teams combined, yet reports indicate the league hesitated to give them primetime slots or marketing exposure for fear of upsetting other franchises. This equity-first approach backfired spectacularly. Fans want to see Caitlin Clark. They don't care about fairness. You don't grow a league by hiding your best product. You grow it by plastering her face on every billboard in the country. Nike just did that. The WNBA didn't. And now one leader is about to cash out while the other faces an exit. The players' reaction adds another layer. You might think everyone would cheer Engelbert's departure, but it's more complicated. The ungrateful comment didn't just sting Caitlin, it insulted every player who knows their worth. Stars like Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart, who even launched Unrivaled to address WNBA salary gaps, have long advocated for better player marketing. If the commissioner thinks the league's biggest asset should be grateful to be here, what does that imply for the role players? Clark's influence is tangible. She's the reason charter flights became standard, the reason the salary cap is set to rise in the next CBA. If the leadership is at odds with the league's golden goose, it raises alarm bells for everyone else. The locker room chatter has shifted from envy toward Clark to a realization. Her fight with the commissioner is their fight too. Win or lose, it sets the tone for the entire league. When the resignation is officially announced, it will probably be framed as mutual or retirement. Don't be fooled. This is a power shift, a clash between the league's past and its future. The past is the WNBA of $70K salaries and rec center gyms. The future is the WNBA, where Caitlin Clark signs a $50 million Nike deal and plays in NBA arenas. Engelbert did plenty for the league. She navigated early 2020's turbulence and secured capital raises, but she represents an era of survival. The league is no longer surviving, it's expanding. It needs a CEO who is bold, media savvy, and unafraid to disrupt the status quo to maximize growth. Rumors of candidates like Kaya Clark or even outside disruptors signal that the owners want a total culture reset. They want someone who sees Caitlin Clark as a monumental opportunity, not a headache. Timing matters too. Nike strategically dropped news of Clark's contract restructuring and the From Anywhere campaign right as the WNBA enters the offseason. Turmoil is intentional. It's a flex. Nike is signaling that they are betting everything on her. It makes the WNBA look hesitant and forces the league to get its act together before the 2026 season. Nike doesn't want their $50 million athlete stuck navigating scheduling chaos, poor officiating, or a hostile commissioner. By elevating Clark, Nike is essentially compelling the WNBA to step up. A proxy war where Nike clearly holds more firepower. Finally, the ungrateful comment is the emotional heart of this story. Why did one word spark such an explosive reaction? Because it cut to the core of respect, or the lack thereof, from a league struggling to recognize its most transformative talent. And that disconnect may just have sealed Engelbert's fate. For decades, female athletes have been told to be grateful for whatever scraps they were handed. Be grateful for the league. Be grateful anyone watches. Caitlin Clark is rewriting that narrative. She doesn't owe gratitude to a league that depends on her. She is the one holding the leverage. When the commissioner allegedly used that kind of language, it exposed an outdated mindset. The institution matters more than the talent. That's the same mentality that held the NCSA back before NIL. It's archaic thinking. Caitlin Clark doesn't work for the WNBA. The league works for her brand right now. Her influence is everywhere. She steps into a golf tournament and ratings spike. She attends a baseball game and the announcers are talking about her. She is bigger than the league itself. The commissioner's failure to recognize that power shift is why she lost the locker room and ultimately the trust of the board. So what happens next? If Engelbert exits, the new commissioner steps into a gold mine, but also a minefield. First order of business: repair the relationship with the Indiana Fever and the Clark camp. Expect the next leader to be photographed with Caitlin immediately. Pushing the 2026 season opener into record-breaking territory. The schedule will likely be optimized to showcase her on TV every night she plays. The old fairness doctrine, gone. Ratings are now king, and that's exactly what the league needs. The NBA didn't hide Jordan to protect the Utah Jazz. They rode Jordan to global dominance. Now, the WNBA is finally realizing it has to do the same. Engelbert's resignation is the bottleneck breaking. The gatekeeping is over. And what about the critics, the pundits, the haters, the old school players who spent 2 years taking shots at Clark? They're silent now. Nike's deal shut them down. It's hard to call her overrated when the smartest marketing company in the world is putting tens of millions of dollars into her brand. Money speaks, and everything else fades. The commissioner's exit is the ultimate confirmation. The Clark era is real, it's permanent, and it's not a fad. Those unwilling to adapt are being left behind. The turmoil of the 2024 season, the jealousy, the racial discussions, the toxicity, it all came from a system unprepared for a superstar of her scale. Now, that system is breaking and rebuilding around her. The new Nike deal has some fascinating leaks too. There's a global tour clause, meaning Clark will travel to Europe and Asia to promote her shoe line. That puts pressure on the WNBA schedule, but a smart commissioner sees this as free marketing. Selling shoes in China or France drives fans back to the league. The old leadership may have seen it as a distraction. The new leadership will see it as opportunity. This is the fundamental philosophical shift driving the change. Thinking big versus thinking small. For 28 years, the WNBA thought small. Caitlin Clark thinks big. Nike thinks big. Together, they're dragging the league into the big leagues, whether the commissioner likes it or not. And let's not forget the fans. This change wouldn't happen without them. By buying jerseys, tuning into games, and flooding social media, fans forced the league's hand. If nobody cared, the commissioner could have kept the status quo. But millions of viewers made the gap between talent and leadership impossible to ignore. Fans saw the poor officiating, the strange scheduling, and the lack of promotion, and they voiced their frustration. This potential resignation is a victory for the fans. It's proof that the customer is right. The fans want Caitlin Clark. They want elite basketball. They want a league that acts like a professional entertainment product, not a gate-kept club. So as we wait for the official announcement, remember, this is more than a simple job change. This is the start of a new era. This is more than a resignation. It's a culture clash in women's sports reaching its breaking point. On one side, you had the establishment, Kathy Engelbert and the old guard, preaching patience, equity, and gratitude. On the other side, the disruptors, Caitlin Clark and Nike pushing growth, dominance, and the power of superstars. The disruptors won. The old guard is folding. The WNBA of 2026 is going to be unrecognizable compared to 2024, and that's exactly what the league needs. Louder, richer, star-focused. The question now is what happens to the rest of the players? Can the new commissioner unify the league? There's still tension. Some players feel Clark gets too much attention, but the new leadership has the chance to reframe the conversation. Caitlin's success isn't a threat, it's everyone's opportunity. Here's the message that needs to be sold. Caitlin's money is the league's money. If revenue doubles, the salary cap doubles. If the cap doubles, even the 12th player on the bench makes 6 figures. That's the reality. Engelbert failed to sell this story. She let jealousy fester. The next commissioner has to come in with proof. Look at this Nike deal. Look at these TV rights. This is the pie, and it's only growing. Don't complain. Play your part. It's blunt, but it's pro sports. As we watch the official WNBA announcement, read between the lines. Pursuing other interests? Fired. Spending time with family? Fired. Praised for service, but replaced immediately by an interim business-minded leader? Fired. And Caitlin, she won't post negativity. She's too media savvy for that. But watch the Nike promos, the subtle flexes, the record-breaking moves. Her comeback isn't in interviews, it's in signature shoes, massive contracts, and market domination. The story is simple. The commissioner is leaving, Caitlin is staying. That alone tells you who's truly running the WNBA. Years from now, we'll look back at this moment, the resignation and the shoe deal, as the moment the WNBA finally matured. It was the moment the league stopped fighting its own success and embraced it. In the entertainment business, you ride the hot hand until it burns out. Caitlin Clark is the hot hand. Kathy Engelbert, unfortunately, was standing in the way. Now, the lane is clear. With her new Nike armor, Caitlin is set to dominate, not just on the court, but across the entire industry. The commissioner is gone, the shoe is in, and the WNBA is about to get far more exciting. If you want to keep up with every development in this saga, replacement rumors, contract updates, player reactions, make sure you hit that subscribe button. The drama is only just beginning.